experience, I rely on reports that were prepared by heads of departments through HEADCOM just to tell me how many learners we expect per province if provinces have delivered and verifying that. It's going to take me not even today to get a full report because I expect a report back later. In case that then it's got 6,000 schools. It's one of our biggest provinces in the country. So there is no way I can just conclusively visit 2 schools and say I have an impression of what day one looks like. We've got more than 6,000 schools.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest provinces. So I really would not be honest if I can say I have an impression. But what just the 2 schools confirms our ongoing challenges with infrastructure. We've taken ECD. We went to that ECD center. That's not the best place you can take your children to. And with ECDs, we want them inside communities. So that school is well placed because it's right inside the community, but you can see there's no space, the infrastructure, and it's going to be another ongoing challenge whilst we still have our own challenges with old schools like this one. It's illegal to have asbestos by law, but we're not able to replace them. All we can do is to paint and treat them in the meantime so they're not harmful to learners, and hoping that with time we'll be able to do that. You can see that it's an old school, there's no space, you can't even put sporting field, you can see where we are, there's no playing area. So we have a major problem with infrastructure. It manifests itself in different ways. It's old schools that were built by apartheid, no staff room, no specialist rooms, very few ablutions. We're discussing with the MEC to say we have to see if we can add another block because the number of toilets we have does not match the number of learners. There are too many learners for the types of seats, number of seats. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem. So infrastructure, it confirms our ongoing challenges with infrastructure. We have limited resources, we have huge demand. We have to deal with new settlements. In the meantime, we have to do a redress. These are apartheid schools, you can see. These trains, and there's nothing more. No specialist room, nothing. So we have to look at those. But in the meantime, which I am proud of about our officials, despite all that, our core business, learning and teaching. And the principals continue to promise me to say, it doesn't matter what. Abantwana bethu bazofunda ukubhala nokufunda. And Premium Motshekga, I've not spoken to you. I was telling MEC Wuti, from the reports I am getting, there's going to be a Natal surprise. You know, these other provinces, a surprise. We used to have a Limpopo surprise where we discovered Limpopo is at the bottom, but it gives us the biggest number of maths intake and maths uptake and also the throughput. And it was a surprise. So I'm very proud that our managers, despite all the difficulties, because we are wanting to continue. And it's because it is fun. I want to put my university, no masters, no bani, and sometimes I get it. It helps me to see us getting them to work in such environment. I mean, it's not the ideal place, but I can assure you, despite all the difficulties, sinenhlanhla nje ukuthi yaba siphila ngelanga yabona ukuthi nokuthi khona i-blackout asiboni thina nakuthi ilanga lisikhanyisele soze sihambe sekhaya kusakhanya. So inkinga ayikho kangako, iba khona nyana nje ukuthi mhlawumbe izohlupha bosomabhizinisi, thina lethu ibhizinisi nangelanga nje liyasebenza. So anginamandla lutho, amandla ami nje ukuthi ngicela othisha ukuthi cima izibane siyafundisa, akho zibane siyafundisa, akho nto singayenza. So that's why ngithiwe ngisuke nje ukuthi ngizibane, akho nto engingayenzi eqinisweni, ngizithembela ilanga nje mina. Comfortable with online, maybe because of what they perceive as challenges in Gauteng. Western Cape uses online, Northern Cape uses online, the Free State uses online, Gauteng, and Mpumalanga. So I'm glad that most provinces are coming on board on the online registration. Because I can, which I was telling you that when I was MEC, it will be up to much that parents tell me kids have not been at school. I don't know where they are. I don't know where the places are. You don't have a sense of where the problems are. Western Cape, even by yesterday, they could accurately tell me that they still have to place 600 learners. So they know which learners have applied even from their system. They know where they can send them to in terms of places. And that's the beauty of online. So it's not really like inconveniencing parents, but to make sure that speedily we can respond. So when Gauteng says in 10 days' time I'll be done, they're working on the basis of data. They know that left is 500, whether they're unable to place them any further, because in some schools I said place them, they said unless ministers say they must sit on each other's laps, there's no space. And that's why we're negotiating with churches, but online will be the best way to go around. So if parents in Gauteng, in the squatter camps can do it, parents in rural areas will be able to do it. If they can do it in Northern Cape, in the deep rural, I'm sure we can do it anyway. Phones have really become the real thing, and you do online, but you also do manual, but it gets loaded. So you allow parents to also submit if they can't do it online, but the main thing, it has to be loaded. You know how many learners have been placed. And as I said, I think this problem, it's just as I said last time, one is one too many if a child has not been placed. But if, for instance, Gauteng has got 2.8 million learners, if they've been able to put 2.8 million learners, they were unable to have 1,500, you can't say the system is not working. It's working because 2.8 million kids are in the system, so which means they've been successfully placed. There's this 1,500, as Premier say, there's lots of immigration. Young people change places of residence, they change places of work, kids grow, and you can't predict accurately. That's why by December you need to have a sense of what are the migration patterns, what is loaded in your system, where the gaps are, so that you can even start ordering mobiles, or you even start building. In Gauteng, what they do, already by September they knew what the problems were. By December they gave schools money to say, we're giving you so much, we're not going to deliver mobiles, go and build 3 classrooms. And you can do that if you really have an online system. But if you're going to do it manually, this is Kati asisikhathi zenu angithi ama-2000 take us sivumeleni nathi technology sisebenzisane nani, because it's you, it's your children, it's not the grannies. But if grannies can nithi hayibapho mama babantwana sesikhuma no granny nje. The mothers are using phones, must apply, not the grannies. The grannies, they did it for you, and we did it for you as our children. Sayenza manual, nina yenzeni online.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you.